a swagging golf for scrapping the battle calls. So emerge the image that every verse is written with intent to show you carnages on my birth certificate. There ain't no such thing as halfway real. Tell the truth or your raps ain't ill. Fakes I'll swallow, chops hush your name. Carnage the Executioner, not just a name.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another episode of the Fruitful Records podcast. Here with the one, the only, Carnage the Executioner.
Hello.
Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Just finished up our live recording. What a wonderful set. Thank you for performing for us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Once I got used to the room, I thought it worked out just fine.
Did the room inspire you?
It really did.
Nice.
It really did. Like, maybe I should keep this up to my mouth. Yes, it really did inspire me. Like, I'd have to come here 10 times before I see everything.
Yeah.
You know, I like that kind of space.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to look at.
Yeah.
And so I know you rapped about it, so everyone who's listening, go watch the live set, of course. But the name, Carnage the Executioner, what's the story behind that?
Well, my first rap name was T Swift. When I first started rapping in, 1987. And, Terrell Swift. And I was a fast rapper, and I was like, oh, yeah, I just need a name that sounds cool because I rap fast. And I carried that name till about 1997, 98, about 98. And then I realized that I needed something that was more grabbing, something that was more attention catching. And I hit up my boy, shout out to my brother DJ Excalibur. He's the guy who I was in my first group with. Our group was Nemnock. And I said, you know what? I want to change my name. What do you think about Carnage the Executioner? And he was like, that's it.
Wow.
That's all he said.
So where did it come from? You just pull it out of thin air like that?
Well, I wanted to have something that represented like when you kill it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it started as. It was like, yo, when you kill it, you leave carnage behind. The executioner is you make it so nobody can follow. You cut the head off, it's over. So Carnage the Executioner plus the execution of, the battle.
Wow.
But later on, I realized that, it was kind of pretentious. So I started to make it fit what I've gone through. Like, I've seen a lot of carnage in my life. And I realized that the executioner, Carnage the Executioner, was like a mask that I was using to cover up the real stuff that I'd gone through in life. So then it became the story of Carnage trying to find Terrell the human. So Carnage the character trying to find Terrell the human. And that's pretty much what it means now. It's about where I was at and where I'm going. Like when I say on the song, as I put stories together, all I can do is face what I've seen, what I've done, and what I'm trying to escape. What I've seen, what I've caused, and what I'm trying to escape. Carnage is what I've seen, what I've caused, and what I'm trying to get away from. And Terrell Woods is the real person that I need to be. So leave the cell could, flee from hell should, then Carnage the Executioner can be Terrell Woods. So I can stop being the character and actually be myself. So that it now represents a journey.
So it's like the final evolution of Carnage the Executioner, Terrell Woods?
Yes, but also there's another evolution after that. I am actually my government name is Maynard Terrell Woods. My middle name is Terrell. I've always been called Terrell, so I don't know why my mom named me that dumbass name. But I've decided that I have to shed my identity of anything that negatively impacted me so that I can move on in life. So the only name that I have that doesn't represent anybody else's name is Terrell. Maynard was my dad's name. Woods is my mom's, lineage last name. So I am cutting off both of those names and I'm giving myself a new last name. Yeah. I am going to be Terrell Xavion.
Okay.
So Terrell X is going to be the
Where's
evolution.
Xavion come from?
Xavion, it means a smart, resilient warrior.
Wow.
So that's who I'm going to be.
That sounds like Carnage the Executioner to me.
Exactly. You know, but evolution.
Hey, that's beautiful because you evolve beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
But you contain a piece of the past.
There you go. So yes, that's what it's going to be. The whole name is going to change, and that's going to be my real name, like government. You know,
you're gonna do all that paperwork.
Legally. Oh yeah,
really
I'm gonna do all the
it.
paperwork and change all that shit because I really feel like that's the next step in my life is to really try to get rid of the past transgressions that have kept me in a position where I feel like I can't necessarily be myself or I can't get to the next level.
For sure.
And I think the name, like you change your name, is you're leaving an identity behind and choosing a new one. And that's kind of where I'm going.
And when you think that step's gonna come, like you think it's coming up soon, or you got a little
within
more?
the next year.
Oh, for real?
Within the next year
Okay,
or
cool.
sooner. Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome.
It's about that time.
To you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you.
Keep evolving. You ain't in your prime yet.
I'm not even in my prime yet.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not even close.
Is Terrell X your prime, or is
no. I mean,
not even.
well, that'll be my name, but I'm always, in 5 years, I'm gonna be the baddest. Like walking the planet, I'm gonna have to lead the planet.
Whew.
It ain't gonna be no room for me in 5 or 6 years.
Right.
I'm trying to evolve that way where, there's no space for me here. You know what I'm saying? There's only space in space.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, we all gonna be going to Mars because Carnage gonna be holding down Earth.
No, y'all can have it.
Oh,
if y'all want to stay here.
Okay, you're out of here.
I'm trying to go to Cybertron, man.
Cybertron. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is how your you have a very original live show experience, and what your records sound like is different than what your live shows are. You often recreate the songs on your records, of course, but they're recreations. They're not just replicas, or you don't just play the beat and rap over it. So I'm just wondering, how your live shows evolved to be what they are, and why. What do you like about it? That sort of thing.
Simply stated, I got bored. I got bored watching everybody else do the same thing. Every time I saw an artist, they always rapped over their beats. And I always remembered what their beats were going to be, because I have a really good memory for music. So, I'd see, local artists do, if I seen a local artist do 5 sets, I know what their beats are going to be. And I was like, well, if I know what their stuff is going to sound like, are people viewing my stuff like that? And then it got to a point where it's like, I don't even care how they view it. I view it like that. I view myself as doing the same thing all the time and or doing something similar to what everybody else is doing. So I have this other skill called beatboxing. And it was really Idea who told me, he was like, why don't you do your own beats? Why don't you just, like the way you beatbox for other people, you should do your songs like that. And it took me a while. I fought the idea, but then I got a loop pedal. In 2007, I got the Boss RC20 loop station, and that is what changed everything. So from 2009 on, I stopped using pre-recorded tracks. So I've been doing it since then. And it has evolved into what it is now because I've added more pedals to the repertoire. So I wasn't complacent with just studio recorded tracks. Then I wasn't complacent with just a loop pedal. Then I wasn't complacent with just a loop pedal and a sound effects pedal. I had to get a whole pedal board. And now the pedals on my pedal board are interchangeable to the point where I have so many pedals I can build 2 more pedal boards.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's next. I'm gonna have different pedal boards for different occasions.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't stop. I don't stop evolving. I don't stop moving because I get bored with myself. I don't want to be bored with myself. I want to be able to perform all the time and love it. And that's where I'm at now. I love performing. Performing is my most favorite thing about being a musician. So I think I feel that way about it because every song is different every time I do it. Every set is different every time I do it.
It never gets stale.
It never gets stale. Like I don't get bored performing. I get bored listening to my pre-recorded tracks. I don't get bored listening to myself perform or performing. So that's what I wanted. I wanted to not be bored, and now I'm not.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Evolving forever. How'd you notice the audience, like how'd their reaction change once you started beatboxing and looping and making the beats on the spot?
It changed like almost 100%. It was like, that was also part of it. It was like the reaction that people gave me when they saw me beatboxing was like, it was priceless. So, you know, after Idea had told me I should do my own sets, I started out doing partial. I was doing part beatbox and part pre-recorded tracks. And then I went out to Madison to do a show, the homies Jack Cracker and AD, shout out to the Crest. I started my set off with 2 songs that I did the beatboxing for. And people were like, I saw that I had their captive attention. They were captivated. Then I went into some of my pre-recorded tracks. I did a few of those. And then at one point I was just like, you know what? Do y'all want to hear some more beatboxing? And the crowd went crazy. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to finish my set beatboxing. And when I got off stage, Jack Cracker was like, that's it. You need to do your whole set beatboxing. And I was like, really? You don't think it'll get boring to people? He was like, no, you can make 45 minutes worth of beats easily. And I was like, okay. So from that day on, I never did pre-recorded tracks from there. And
so the legend of the show stealer began.
The legend of the show stealer began.
Hey.
I love the way you said that.
Hell yeah.
I might have to take that as a soundbite and put that somewhere.
Hey, perfect. So here's another question. This one's kind of more abstract, I guess. If Carnage wasn't a musician, what would you be? Or what would Carnage be?
If I wasn't a musician, I probably wouldn't be Carnage the Executioner.
That's fair.
I would be doing some type of probably humanitarian work, youth work, you know, mostly youth work, but I'm a people person. So whatever it is I would be doing, it would be involving other people. I like to collaborate. And I'm a social person. So, you know, being social with people is like collaboration to me. So whatever before I became a full-time musician, I actually was a social worker. You know, I worked
Definitely
with
a
youth.
people person.
Yeah. I mean, I went to school for psychology, you know, so it's always been about people. So it wasn't until 2007 where I went full-time musician, but I never stopped working with people. So if I wasn't a full-time musician, I would still be working with people like I was before I became a full-time musician.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You ever feel like your name is too intense? Because you're like a really like nice, loving, helpful, caring guy. And the Executioner. Whew.
Well, it's intense. It's not too intense for my career, my live performance, because you know, like I don't play around. You know, when I perform, I go in, and that's part of the name. If you're gonna have a name like Carnage the Executioner, you got to go to hell in. But like I said, in not just the name, more of the how do I say it? More the intensity that Carnage the Executioner the intensity that Carnage the Executioner represents is something that more so pulls me away from the real me. It's not as much about like for my rap performance, it's perfect, it's fine. But allowing me to connect with people as a real person outside of the character is where it gets in the way. And that's why you know, when I do the Terrell Xavier thing, that's going to be the me, and Carnage will be the character. Like right now, you know, for a while I've been trying to mix the two. I've been trying to be like, you know, Carnage is a real person. Watch me show you. And it's like, yeah, the real person behind Carnage is the real person. Carnage is the character. So now I have to figure out how to separate the two for real, and this is the way to do it. So when people want to do a collaboration, I would say, you want that Terrell X or do you want that Carnage the Executioner? There'll be two different approaches.
So it's almost like different personas in a way.
Yes, but in a way that that really more so represents me, because all of us have a character, all of us have a dark side, And Carnage the Executioner is my superhero or supervillain, whatever way you want to look at it. But Terrell X is the real person. Now I can always go and do that Carnage the Executioner thing, you know, and I can always do the Terrell X thing too, or I can call on whatever persona I need at whatever time I need it. And I think that's gonna be a fun evolution for me.
Yeah. So do you think having the Carnage the Executioner persona has kind of freed you up in the art you create?
I think it will. It held me back. So now being able to develop the like, that's what I was saying in the song. It's like because all of my songs were pretty much about being Carnage, being the most dominant, being the killer, being the whatever destructive mechanism I chose to be. You know, being just Carnage was the holdback, but adding the other persona allows me to go further in what it is I'm trying to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it limited me. Being just Carnage the Executioner, I feel like limited me to what I wanted and needed to talk about. And I just want to have fun. I want to have more fun with it too. You know, like I want to have fun with Carnage the Executioner and not just have it be this rugged persona that I have to live up to. And I can do that as its separate thing if I have that. But then I can also be who I'm really going to be. Like, I've always wanted to have a name that I could actually go by as an artist. I don't think Terrell Woods is that cool of a name. It's okay. You know, I've like, some rappers got dope names like Nas. That's just like Nas. Like, if he was going to be Nasir Jones, that's a dope name. You know what I'm saying? Eric Sermon, you know, Reggie Noble. I think Reggie Noble, Redman should have used his real name. You know, another name that I think is really dope. He's gonna hate me because I say this. My brother Illogic from where's he from? Ohio. Illogic's from Ohio. His real name is F.W.R. Glass.
Ooh, that's a nice.
That
name.
is a fucking dope name.
That's a nice name.
And when I found that out, I was like, why don't you go by F.W.R. Glass? He was like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I was like, all right, cool. But like, if I had that name, I would use that name. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But I don't have that name. I got Terrell Woods. But Terrell X or Terrell Xavion is a dope name. I would actually go by that as an artist.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. So Carnage the Executioner it held you back because it's got kind of an intense energy to it. But once you have a name that you can be yourself entirely as an artist through, you'll then be free, because then you can go back and tap into that intense energy when someone got to get battle rapped, when someone got to get shown up, when a show got to be stolen.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I didn't say it better myself. He just did. That right there, that was a quote.
Let's go. Soundbite it. All right, here's another question. It's kind of general, but what are your thoughts on, like, what's the key to making it, you know, to being successful, to just making it?
Doing what you want without any need to satisfy anything else or anybody else. I'm finally in a place where I feel like I can make music that I like first. If I don't like it, then what am I expecting anybody else to like it for? Yeah. Before it goes out, it has to pass the Terrell test.
Ooh.
The Terrell test has to be, I can't write a song anymore and be like, yo, I wonder what the rappers are gonna say when they hear this. Yeah. Like, that's a real stale way to approach doing your music. Or what are people gonna say when they hear me, rap about this deep subject that happened, whatever. I would rather rap about something that I want to talk about and then present it to the people and see if they like it. And if they don't like it, then they don't. But at least I liked it before it went out. So that is the first step to being able, to me, that's the main step to being able to say you made it, is to be able to make art freely without having to worry about anybody else's approval first.
Yeah.
Like, if they approve it after you approve it, then that's fine. But they were the second.
Yeah, you get that first say.
Yep.
You're making it for you.
Exactly. So that's making it. When you can create art like you don't have to worry about fans, when you don't have to worry about satisfying other people, that's when you made it.
That's good. That's really nice. Cause actually very relevantly, like just last night I'm making album art for one of my friends, right? And I made this version that I just thought was so cool, and I was super excited to send it to him. And I sent it to him, and they didn't really like it. And like all the power to them, it's for their album, it's for their art. But it's like it's hard sometimes when you really like the art, and then the person that it matters that they like it because you're giving it for them. If they don't like it, then it's like this weird confliction where it's like, oh.
Then you just use it for yourself.
Yeah, I know, but it's covered in their branding.
Oh, well, I mean, it sounds like they lost out. You know
I like to
they
think
missed
so.
out.
I like to think so.
Because if you liked it first, you liked it when you made it, right? That was the first step.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. But I made it trying to satisfy them.
See, yeah, that's a tough position to be in. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I tried that before, and it only works to a certain point. It only works up to a certain point. It only works to a certain extent. And like now, I have music that I made in the past that I don't like, but other people like it. And it's like, I don't like it because was I really doing it for me? Like I said I was, and at that point, maybe I was.
You've evolved beyond.
I've evolved to something else. I've evolved into something else that made me want something else for myself first. And I'm pickier about what it is I'm putting out for myself first. Yeah. So it has to pass that me test, and it has to be something that when I listen to it in 10 years, in 15 and 20 years, I still like it. And some of the stuff I put out 15 years ago, I don't like. So.
So do you think 15 years from now, you're going to like the stuff you're putting out now?
Yes. I like the last, especially my last project. I really like my Ravenous album. I also really like my Respect the Name album. That was my 2012. So I'm like 2012 and 2019. Those are my best two projects thus far. Now I'm working on what I think is going to be my best record. We'll talk about that some other time.
Okay.
But
we'll save it.
Yes. And there was some stuff in between that I did, but I was also in a bitter stage. So when I look back at some of that, I don't like it because I know that when I was doing some of it, I wasn't coming from a place that I was really proud to be in. So yes, I do have some stuff that I would listen to 15 years from now, 20 years from now, and be like, yeah, that shit's hot. And it's probably the most recent shit I put out because I figured it out.
Yeah, you just keep getting better.
Yep.
I love that. Well, I'd love to give a huge shout out to Mike Michaels.
Yes.
Who connected us up.
Mike Michael is the dude.
Mike Michael's the dude.
Yes,
He's
he is.
in the Orange Goodness, whose live set we recently released as of recording this podcast.
One of the best human beings, one of the best performers, one of the best guitars, one of the best writers, all that any of us have ever encountered. So yes.
Terrific human. And yeah, while we were doing our live set with Orange Goodness, yeah, he kept saying like, yo, I gotta set you up with my buddy Carnage the Executioner. Like, y'all gotta get working on something. He's gotta come through for a live set.
He was right.
And he was right. Yeah, I mean, we had a great time. We made some great art. And
thank you, man.
And I remember after that live set, yeah, me and Brett ended up seeing you, Desdemona, and the Orange Goodness at 331 Club.
Oh, so you had already did their video?
Yes, we had recorded it, but we hadn't yet released it.
So it's been done for a little bit.
It has.
Okay.
Yeah, it has.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, we kind of record them a little faster than we release them.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. Yeah.
We build up a bit of a stockpile, but
yeah,
it's a good problem to have. But anyways, Mike Michaels, thank you for setting us up. A great connection. I'm curious kind of how you met him, because he entered our lives, because I did a live set with Creeping Charlie, which the front woman of that, Julia, she used to get guitar lessons from Mike Michaels. So this connection train continues where she did a live set and she was like, you got to meet Mike Michaels. We did with Mike Michaels. He was like, you got to meet Carnage. I'm wondering who you're going to set us up with, but we'll get back to that. Hey, we'll get back to that.
I got a couple people.
All right, cool. I'm wondering though.
At least three. And one of them I'm involved with, so yeah.
How'd you meet Mike Michaels?
Mike Michael, he was going by Bill Mike at that point.
Woo!
So the Bill Mike band.
That's kind of fire.
He had the Bill Mike band, and he was doing a show that he threw. It was like Rock the Vote. It was like something with rock in it, and he booked Desdemona. Shout out to Desdemona. Her and I are ill chemistry. That's our group, which is one of the
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep. My aunt knows, big fan, Ill Chemistry.
Okay, cool. All right. Maybe your aunt needs to be in here when we do our show.
That'd be sweet.
But yeah. So he booked her to do the show at what was the Acadia Cafe when it was on Nicollet. I think it was in 2005, I want to say. It was 2005. And he booked her, and I was her music, and her and I were a group at that point. So, of course, she invited me to come. And we came, and the Bill Mike band played, and I was like, that's my band. I fell in love. I was like, I had this straight up crush. I was like, that's my band. I need to. And then they saw Desdemona and I perform, and let Mike tell it. He was like, he had a crush on me.
Aww.
So it was like, he was like, his group was like, yo, we want a rapper. That's him. And I was like, yo, I want a band. That's them.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
it just happened that way. So shout out to Mike for booking Desdemona, and shout out to Desdemona for bringing me.
Yeah.
Because Mike and I never left each other's side since then. So then I started doing stuff with the Bill Mike band, and we did like a little EP together, and we never stopped working together. And to the point where he has played guitar on almost every release I've ever put out.
Really?
Yep, I've had him, I've had him add something to just about every, because guitar is my favorite instrument. So I always would get beats, and then I would be like, I need that guitar that doesn't sound exactly like guitar on my record, but it's still guitar. And Mike Michael was the person to do it. Oh yeah. So that's one of the ways we never lost contact with each other, and we've been working with each other since then. So since 2005, when he invited Desdemona for that show, we musically fell in love and never left. Yeah.
And it's just crazy how the world works, like 100 things could have kept that from happening.
Yep.
Desdemona didn't feel like it. Mike Michaels found someone else. Desdemona had work. You had work, like 100 things could have kept that from happening. It's just fun to think that such a simple thing, just doing a gig together and lifelong friends,
Yeah, because I don't know that we would have made the same connection, because we weren't running in the same circles. He's the alt rock, and I was straight hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have crossed. But what was cool about when I got with them is we practiced, and it was just so easy. It was like we literally were like, yo, Mike was like, come to my practice spot, and we don't really have a playback for the music, so we'll just come out and listen to the music in your car. So they came out, and it was super Minnesota cold at that time. They come to the car, and I play the first song, and I was like, y'all can learn this, and I play it, and they're listening. About 15 seconds in, they were like, all right, we got it. And I was like, for real? So we went in the practice room, and we nailed it.
Wow.
Then they were like, all right, next one. We went to the car, did it again. And I'm like, what the hell? Nailed it. Then came back and did another one, nailed it. And it was like, it was that easy. It was as easy for them to learn my stuff and work with me as it was for me to do it with Desdemona when she asked me to do her thing. So that's why we made a connection. When Desdemona was like, yo, I don't want to have pre-recorded tracks or have a band all the time. Would you be willing to beatbox for me? She came over and she'd start rapping. I had a beat. Oh, let's do another one. It was almost the same exact story, but it was with them. And it stuck. They were so easy to work with, and they had such good musical memory. Yeah. And they had the kind of musical memory that I feel like I have, and it worked.
Well, I definitely understand, even just from knowing Mike Michael, how much I do. Definitely, you can tell, like, it just clicks, and he's such a talented musician. I'm sure, he can hear the song. You're like, okay,
he's ready immediately.
Know what pedal to use, know what effect to do. We're gonna go groove.
Yep,
that's awesome.
It's nice to know people like that. It makes working with people a lot easier when they're like that.
Yeah, you don't really have to manage or tell them what to do. Like,
yeah, they already know what to do. Right,
he's gonna do it better than anyone else.
Yep, exactly. They're gonna do it better than the way you wanted them to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's funny. So, were you beatboxing for Desdemona before yourself?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Like, I always tell this story like this. I didn't really get a chance to rhyme over beatboxing until I did it to my own beatboxing. because most of the people I know can't really beatbox. You know, they just it just really wasn't
So you
their
just
thing.
didn't have no loop or nothing.
I didn't have anybody to do it for me.
Yeah. And
So-
you couldn't do it yourself.
Right, I
yet.
couldn't do it for myself until 2007. That's when I was able to do it. So I actually you said it right. I actually started beatboxing full time for Desdemona in our group before I ever started doing it for myself. Like a 5-year difference.
Wow. Okay.
Like a 5-year difference before I was doing it full for myself. So I did it with Des for at least 5 years before I did it for myself.
So beforehand, you didn't have a looper. So with Desdemona, did you just rap live?
I didn't
straight
rap.
through, or excuse me, beatbox straight through.
Yes. For the first 3 years I worked with Desdemona, I didn't use a pedal. I just straight beatboxed for 45 minutes.
That sounds kind of exhausting.
Nah, I had it. And I was 300 and something pounds. I was 340 something
I
pounds.
remember you
I was
saying
getting
you
it in.
lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I was getting it in even at that size because this music that's what I'm supposed to do. So like weight ain't gonna hold me back.
That's
Weight,
nice.
you know, fat ain't holding me back.
All right, so this is kind of a crazy question, but do you think it was Terrell Woods or Carnage the Executioner that lost all the weight?
That's a great. It was Terrell Woods. It was Terrell X.
yeah, for real.
It was Terrell.
Maybe a little both though, you know.
Well,
Carnage got the hunger.
Carnage is the persona that is all consuming. It's all destructive. It consumes, it destroys, and it wasn't really as much about creating. You know, when I started really seeing myself as something other than just Carnage the Executioner, that's when I went plant-based, and that's when the vegan journey started happening, and that's when the weight actually came off and stayed off. Yeah,
that was a decision by Terrell.
yes, it definitely was. Man, you asked some good questions, bro.
Yeah, I got some practice. This ain't my first podcast.
Nah,
So with live shows, do you get nervous before them still? I mean,
no, not really. No.
Are you just confident that you're gonna pull it off, or do you not care about what people think, or like how are you not nervous?
Because I feel like I've mastered my craft. Like when the craft is mastered, all you do is just keep polishing it. So every performance to me is a polish. You know, it's adding another layer of polish and making it better. So I don't look at it as something I need to be afraid about. Yeah, I don't need to be afraid of it. I need to do it, embrace it, and use it to take what I'm doing to the next level. So no, I rarely get nervous. You know, if I do, it's because there's a big shot in the crowd or something.
Yeah,
and that's happened before. But that would be the only thing that really makes me nervous. For me, I'm doing it for me first, and I know I got it. You know, and that's another thing. The more I do it for myself, the less nervous. Like, what do I have to be nervous about? I'm going up there to do it for me, and then y'all should enjoy the fact that I enjoy myself.
yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Like, I think that's part of why people like my performance too, because they see that I love doing what I love to do, what I'm doing so much. You know, I think people have fun watching me have fun. So what is there to be nervous about?
Yeah, very true. If the best performance comes from you just having fun, why do anything but just have fun?
Right. And then people are gonna follow you if it's quality. You know, or they don't like music, they're not going to, or they have some type of preconceived notion of what it's supposed to be. Like, you know, if you put me in front of 10 crowds, I'm gonna rock. Hopefully, I'm gonna rock 11 of them. I'm trying to get the people who aren't there to learn about it from the people who were there. So, you know, I'm trying to turn 5 into 15.
Yeah.
You know, every time 5 fans into 15. But I would say, in actuality, you know, I rock 9 out of 10 at least. You know, I rock 9 out of 10 at least.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, you rock.
But I rocked 10 for me though.
Yeah,
All 10 were rocked for me,
and that's what's
and then
important.
the crowd, you know, I might get 9. You know what I'm saying? So those ain't too bad stats.
No.
Those stats ain't too bad.
Hey, you rocked 1-for-1 crowd tonight. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate it. It was fun.
So how long you been in Minnesota for? You born here?
No, I was born in Chicago, and I've been in Minnesota since I was about probably like four or five.
Okay.
Somewhere in that area.
So most of your life been in...
Most of my life, yep.
What's your views on the music scene here and how it's changed? You think it's in a good state?
You know, I don't follow it as much as I used to because I'm just way too busy. I think there was a point where we really had some cool stuff going on. But I feel like we got stagnant at a particular point where we had a lot of people who were just dead set, hell bent on putting Minnesota on the map. That was a thing I saw. I heard a lot of people saying they were trying to do, and to me, that was just they were trying to be the next. They were either trying to get signed to Rhymesayers or they were trying to be the next Rhymesayers artist or something. You know, and I think it was in a very stale point. And at that point, I kind of stopped paying as much attention to it and started traveling myself. So there are some MCs out there I really, really like. But for the most part, I don't know exactly what the Minnesota sound is anymore because I'm sure it's evolved because some of the older players are old. And then there's the younger cats are coming up doing their thing. And I've heard a few young cats that I was like, so there's this dude named Righteous MC he's from Chicago originally too. He's my new favorite rapper. So he's one of the ones that you got to get here. He's
Righteous
stupid.
MC.
Yeah, he's.
I swear I've heard the name.
He's stupid, man. That dude is crazy ill. So yeah, there are a couple hitters out there who y'all need to be checking for, who we all need to be continuing to check for. But yeah. So I guess maybe I answered your question. I'm not as connected with the scene as I used to be. Yeah. And it's not because it's because I'm doing my own thing, and what I'm doing doesn't really revolve or evolve around the scene. It didn't evolve because of the scene, or it doesn't revolve around the scene because I feel like this hasn't been my scene. This, like, the type of music I do, the way I approach a performance, who I am is not purely Minnesotan. Yeah. You know, like
bigger than that.
Well, they want something else. I think Minnesota crowds, the majority of the demographic here wants something else, and it ain't what I do. And I'm fine with that now. It took me a long time to get over it. You know, it took me a whole lot of shows, people not coming to them, and for me to be sad about before I realized that maybe this just isn't my demographic. And then I went and I traveled other places, and I realized that my demographic was in all these other places. And it made me say, you know, don't be bitter about Minnesota. Just don't put all your faith in Minnesota. You just do what you do in Minnesota and go places outside of Minnesota who really like what you do. Yeah. And I found so many places that really, really, really like what I do. Shout out to Salt Lake City. Hey. You know, shout out to different areas of Colorado. You know, shout out to the West Coast. You know, shout out to, like, you know, Portland. I got some hitters out there. California, there's some nice, you know, some areas, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, I got areas that really mess with me. For sure. And they mess with me harder than what the response is that I'm getting from Minnesota, and that's fine. You know, so yeah. No, that makes total sense. And that reminds me of something we were talking about with Mike Michaels when we did his podcast, and that's like, you don't have to make your art for everybody. You just have to make it for somebody, you know? Like yourself. Well, that's true. I mean, that's bottom line, you know? Bottom line is you. Yeah. And that's, you know, that kind of just drives the point home where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need, like, the biggest audience in the world. Right. You just need somebody that really, really likes it. Someone that really appreciates for what it is. And yeah, hopefully that's you. But, you know, if there's 3 other people out there, 4 or 5, and there are a stadium full, you know, like, it's just a lot of times your crowd is out there and you just don't know how to get to them, or they don't know you're there, or whatever. Yeah, you know, you'll figure that out. Hopefully you get to a point where you do figure it out. Hopefully you don't do this for your whole life and never realize where the people who really love you lie. You know, luckily, you know, fortunate for me, I was just like, I got to do something else. I just don't feel right sitting here trying to do just this. And 2016, I started hitting the road and going all different types of places, and it was like, oh man, there's all of these people who like what I do in all these other places. Why concentrate in a place that doesn't feel like they do, and instead of going to the places where they do?
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Going where your audience is more densely concentrated, you know?
And not being upset about it like I was at one point.
Yeah, that's the key. You know?
It was ridiculous. I was just reacting ridiculously, and I'm ashamed of some of the feelings I had because they just didn't need to be. I didn't need to be feeling that way, and I didn't need to be saying. I didn't need to be having that type of self-talk.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I was holding myself back.
Yeah,
you know, and now I'm not. Let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm wondering a little more on. You're saying part of the reason the scene kind of got stale for you was because everybody wanted to put Minnesota on the map. And that's something, I mean, I still hear. It's not like that. It's not overwhelming or nothing, but I'm wondering kind of why that made it stale. Is it because everyone wanted to be the one to put it on the map? It was like a power grab, or like
there was that. I think a lot of people, they're just really selfish about it. They're like, oh, I'm gonna be the one. It's like, so you're not collaborating with other people so y'all can do it together. You know, strength is in numbers. You know, like, you know, there's a lot of MCs from Staten Island, but when Staten Island got put on the map for real, there was like 12 MCs involved. They're called Wu-Tang Clan. You know, it was a number of people who put that small area on the map. So why is there, you know, a bunch of individual rappers running around here saying they're going to be the ones that put Minnesota on the map? Really? Like, it's counterproductive. What if every artist that was talented collaborated with every other artist that was talented?
Yeah.
You know, then
crazy.
We would have crazy numbers.
Yeah.
You know, instead you got like 2 or 3 talented people performing with a few other talented people who want to perform with other talented people, and the numbers are just so small. You know, the numbers of people who want to work together for a common cause rather than a selfish, you know, power grab are few and far between here at the point that I was seeing that. I was like, y'all can have it. Y'all go ahead and concentrate on, you know, making your music sound a way that people in Minnesota are going to like, and I'm going to go and do something else. I'm going to concentrate on the live show and doing the live show differently from the way I see anybody else do it. Yeah. That was my power grab. So,
yeah, broke off from the group, doubled down on your own craft.
Yeah.
Kept polishing.
Yeah, and more power to everybody. You know, I'm not hating on anybody. Do what you do what makes you happy. And if, you know, trying to put Minnesota on the map makes you happy, go ahead, do it. It wasn't for me. It wasn't me. I want to put me in the world, not Minnesota on the map. Yep. That's more important. I need to be known everywhere myself. I'm not trying to put Minnesota on the map for myself. I'm trying to be everywhere. I'm not local. I'm not a local MC. I'm a worldwide traveling, stage destroying, putting it down, collaborating with anybody on the planet, but then stepping back and doing my own thing to a high level ass dude. Yeah. That's what I need to do. That's what I need to do.
That's beautiful. All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up in just a bit here. A couple more questions though. I'm wondering about your long-term goals for your art career. Where do you want things to go?
I don't have a particular destination. I just want to keep making music that I really like, that pushes me to do something different every time I do it. I just want to be able to create the way I want to and make a living creating art the way I want to without having to conform. That's my goal. That's yeah. You know, there's no particular destination other than just, you know, being self-sustained, you know, having a self-sustaining musical artistic career that allows me to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it, however I want to do it, with no ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah. That's my destination.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, it's abstract, but, you know, I'm not trying to be a millionaire or trying to be the biggest rapper on the planet or be the biggest Minnesota artist. I'm not, none of that. It's like I want to be a household name for making music that I like first, and that people like enough also that they're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, doing it yourself.
I'm not gonna give my music away for the rest of my life like a lot of people I know do. They're like, well, the only way they're gonna hear it is if I give it away. Well, damn, I feel bad for you if that's how you feel.
Yeah,
you gotta buy my shit.
Hey.
My shit's hard. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
You know, so
I respect that. That's cool. That's a beautiful goal, and I think that honestly should be the goal of pretty much every artist. You know, I mean, I feel like that's the place. That's the place to be in a position where you're just making things for yourself, doing what you love, but you know, getting checks for you to live off of just for being Terrell X or Carnage the Executioner, and having that support your entire life.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go and work for anybody anymore. I want to be able to do that for the rest of my life on my own terms.
Yeah,
that's my goal.
Yeah, it'll come once the live set.
I mean,
drops,
it's already
I'm
here.
telling
You know, I've been an independent artist since 2007. I haven't had a 9-to-5 since 2007, so I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I'd say
I'm
so.
doing. I'd say I'm doing
so.
okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing pretty good.
That's very respectable. Cool. All right. Well, one of the last questions I got for you is your thoughts on Flavor World Records, your time here today.
Yo, Flavor World is the world that y'all need to be in.
Let's
like,
go.
yeah, it's super dope. I love what y'all have done with the place. There's a nice vibe here that, if I get new songs that I want to try out, I would love to come and try them out here just to see what y'all gonna do to the room and how we can finesse, you know, some of the new unreleased stuff in a place that is not a traditional venue. I don't need to perform in a bar for the rest of my life. Like, I like stuff like this. If I could do these types of shows in rooms like this for the rest of my life and still make a living, this is where I would rather be. I don't drink, you know, and I don't make any money off the bar. So why am I playing in bars until 3 in the morning?
Yeah.
No, I'd rather come here and be done at 10 and kill it. You know, come to a place like this. But I've never been in a room quite like this. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more. And anybody else, y'all should hit up Flavor World and try to get your art in a space that actually supports art. This is all art. This room is all art.
Hey.
You know, it is art. So if you're an artist, you need to play where art is at.
Hey.
You know, this is an art gallery.
Well
you know?
said.
Yeah. My thoughts on it was Flavor World, and what else was it?
Flavor World Records.
I'm looking forward to, you know, getting on some of them beats.
Yeah.
Yo,
hey.
the last time I was here, you know, Brett played some shit that was like, oh, you made that?
Yep. Hey,
so
that's the man.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do something. Maybe we need to do like a single or something. Start out like do like a couple songs and see what, you know, it's like a single and then a B side or whatever. And let's do 2.
Okay.
And see what's up, you know?
Okay.
Maybe you can get some of that new Terrell X when it's coming.
I think we just got a little business deal on the podcast here.
All right. Yeah.
Hey,
so that's what I think about Flavor World Records too.
I love that. Yeah, we want beats. That's what we think about it.
Let's get these
Shout
beats
out
popping.
Beat Haven, Behavy.
Yeah, man. Behaving got some beats. Some beats. That's how you gotta say beats.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's
you gotta use that. That's the little tag at the
yeah.
Behaving got them beats.
Let's go. All right. Any last words? Any last shout outs or anything?
Shout out to everybody, you know, all my homies, you know, all my Hecatomians. Special shout out to my brother Righteous MC, my brother DJ Excalibur, my sister Desdemona, my brother DJ Piecemeal, my brother DJ Really Fresh 97. Yeah, I got some peeps. Shout out to Sammy Warmhands out there in Eugene.
Sammy
and
Warmhands.
Evil. Yeah, we got to get him out here. He's dope too. Shout out to Blueprint Illogic. Man, I could do this forever, man.
Yeah,
I could do this forever. Like, you know, please don't feel bad if I didn't say your name, but you know, it's just a lot of you. Shout out to all of you. I love you all. Shout out to my brother Mikey. And yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carnage the Executioner. It's been a pleasure. Hope
Flavor
to have you
World.
back sometime.
Flavor World.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Been a treat.
I hope you feel the same way. You ain't even in your prime yet, then we got something in common. Today, Better than yesterday, tomorrow, better than today. Cause I ain't even in my prime yet. Say it. I ain't even in my prime yet. I ain't even in my prime yet. I ain't even in my prime yet.